Hey, you're wide receiver Khalil Shakir, right?
I sure am, kid. Here, go long.
Whoa! You're pretty good at football, man.
And you guys are pretty good at pizza.
Oh, sick. Dude.
Folks, welcome back to Trainwreck Tonight, 390. It's 2 in the afternoon on May 28th, 2025. We are after Memorial Day weekend. We are into it here on the topics. We're into Bills OTAs. We're into the Sabres doing more of nothing. We got local, some are saying scandals and much more. So let's get our panel on here. We got the Dreamboat. We got my friend, your friend, our friend, Mr. Jake Micah. Gents, welcome to the show. I know we're 2 days out now, but I know we're all still feeling the leg. How was the Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was like the ultimate. First of all, Tuesdays are basically Monday to me. Tuesday's the worst day of the week by far. Yesterday, the ultimate Tuesday. Tuesday.
It was Ultimate Tuesday. And by the way, you're coming off of Memorial Day weekend with slicks. I'm just saying, it takes a little extra out of the chutzpah.
I slept good last night.
Dreamboat, I know you were gigging all over.
Well, that's the thing. I was supposed to Sunday. You asked me to accompany you to the Niagara Falls match, but I had a gig. It's canceled for rain. Now I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I don't have my normal cool backdrop behind me because I am in the process of moving. So really, I didn't really, the holiday. It was a mixed bag. I'll say blessing in disguise because I had extra time to get more organized, rather than rush to be out, move in 2 days. I just took it slow, had a couple beers and packed up. So I'm not feeling too rough. I got my drill next to me and we're ready to keep it rolling, ready to drill the competition.
Yeah, seriously. It's time to get after it. We're into kind of harvesting season. It's June, July when not much is happening in the Buffalo landscape, but obviously there's still much going on in the national picture. You got NBA, NHL playoffs rolling on. We'll get into those in a bit. But we do get a little snippet this week. We got Bills OTAs. Micah, I know you and Bunt covered this at length last night. I would assume not much has changed or not much has become known that's different since then. What do you, I guess when we look at it, what reaction of all these things kind of surprises you the most at this week and this point in time?
Yeah, so quick plug, obviously, if you want to hear the extended conversation on Pay the Bills podcast, go to YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, see that between me and Bunt. But yeah, the Bosa conversation for me, not a big deal. I mean, we all knew the injury concerns. Like, if we want to flag those, we flagged them when they signed him. But I'd rather them, I tweeted out a couple times yesterday in response. If he stubbed a toe, I would have sat him for a month. Like that, like we don't need him to practice in May. I think it's just as much a benefit for him to be there. Am I worried about his injuries? Yeah, but I was worried about his injuries before he showed up to camp hurt. So I just think like he needs to be healthy in December. And so I'm going to operate under the assumption that the Bills are being extremely cautious and just taking every precaution with a guy who they know is important. Cook, we knew he wasn't going to show up. Let's see if he doesn't show up to mandatory stuff and starts eating those fines. That will be when it's really telling. I don't know how you guys feel about James Cook at this point by now, but I'm going to just let him sit at home until he decides to come to his senses. That's where I'm at.
Micah, I caught snippets, but did you guys talk like live odds of Cook being a Bill in 2026?
Oh, for next season, we were pretty 50-50 on next season. We think he's going to show up.
I think there's no shot. I think he's done. I think this is last year. We got Ray Davis. We got Ty Johnson. We got, we're going to kind of work someone else in eventually. James Cook's been great. 16 touchdowns last year. Outstanding. No doubt. And I think that he was the difference maker in this Bills offense. You could argue for the last year and that December month last year when Brady took over. But at the end of the day, the battery, the engine, the skyscraper, the Burj Khalifa of Bills Mafia is Josh Allen. And you're just not going to spend that much on a running back when you have such a team to field, and they clearly prioritize other positions a little bit more, Don.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not too confident he's going to be back once the contract's up. I think, if he really wanted to be here and was invested in the championship, the way things were said, the way things were handled, the way he would have been publicly on his own social media would have been a little different. But I will give a warning. We've seen this before where a guy wants to go get paid. Maybe he goes to a team that has more money, isn't as talented, and their numbers go down because there's a lot more focus on them, on opposing defenses. So yeah, he's been wonderful. I hate to see him go, but we'll have to see how he fits in if he does go elsewhere. But hey, we got this season. He's locked in. Like Jake said, I'm not pushing the panic button until he doesn't show up for mandatories.
Two outside the box topics, and we'll move on from the Bills. Wedding weekend, obviously, for Josh Allen, Santa Barbara. They'll be, making the nuptials happen. My only discussion on this topic, we can put it, and then let's put it to bed. How much is this wedding ceremony going to cost? I think we're coming in at between $2 to $3 million is my thought process. I don't think they're going crazy. I think they could go really crazy. But if I had to guess, if you gave me everything all together, but yeah, I think there's some dream things they want. I think they're making sure. I don't know a guess total, but I'm hearing 150 to 200. It's not going to be super crazy. Might even be smaller than that, which is, you have to think that these individuals, Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld, have teams of people, 5 to 10 people responsible for their immediate well-being. So these wedding totals can add up quickly when you factor in family, friends, teammates, co-stars, former, all the way. So 2.3 million would be my guess. I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts.
The support staff was going to be my main point because Josh, as we know, is not in California right now, preparing for a wedding in any way, shape, or form. So there has to be people usually not saying that celebrities, I don't know how these celebrity weddings work. I doubt the wedding couple has to do as much work as a normal wedding when you're preparing and things like that. But I'm sure there still is involvement in the process that you want to be in, especially hands-on the week of. So I'm sure this is a stressful week. I think definitely 2, 3. I'd say even close to 5, honestly, depending on how much staff they had to get this ready for. Yeah,
I agree. Staff and location could be something that I'm just literally getting hit with a sledgehammer. It could be $500,000 to $1 million for the location venue alone, Don.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. We see athletes get married all the time and blow a bag on this, but it's not just Josh. Haley's net worth is $25 million too. Yeah. So they both got money, and they're both high-profile people. And if you got the money, why do the work? I'd more make the decisions and have someone else figure out how to make it all happen. Tell the wedding planner what you want and they make it happen. Now, here's the thing too, with these high profile weddings, they love getting a wedding band that's a real Billboard artist, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see the entertainment for this. You've seen some big bands and even solo artists. I think I remember, it might not be The Weeknd, but I feel like he did a private wedding and it was $500,000.
Whoa,
just for him for a private event. So I could be wrong on that. I might be mixing him up with another artist, but entertainment alone, I mean, you're looking at a bag. So I'm agreeing with Jake. I think we're easily going to go over 2.3, 2.5 million, probably approach 5.
All right. Speaking of a bag, Bandits, a bag, 3 times champs. Pretty outstanding. You got, I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but the party has been pretty crazy from these boys. Very well deserved. You got Dane Smith crowd surfing, saying this is going to be his celebration next year when he scores. Just outstanding things. Love seeing a guy get crowd surfed in a dark, inside venue. There's just nothing better than that. The run they're on right now reminds me, the party run reminds me of Alex Ovechkin in 2019. You just love seeing every clip, and fans can't get enough of it.
How was it? How was it? You guys have been there all weekend. You guys have been in it. You were in the city. What's the vibe been like? What was it like Saturday night, carrying through?
It was kind of a perfect storm, right, Don? Because you had Memorial Day weekend, so everybody partied Saturday. There wasn't any oh, we better take the foot off the pedal with a week coming up here on Sunday. Everyone was still, I believe, actually intern Carson and I came back from TNA Border Brawl, and we went to 40 Thieves, and they were living it up. We saw Captain, we saw Kurt Halmisser, our guy there at the Bandits. They were having a great time, and the whole team was just going nuts. I have to say this, and this is not with any shade at all. All of them inside at 40 Thieves in sunglasses. You love to see it. Like, just exactly the look you need at that same point. Nobody needs to be like, check me out too much. Just seeing the elation, seeing the coolness. That was what it was all about. There's just an aura. I think you got to get these Banditos, and you just got to rub them against the Sabres and the Bills as much as possible. These are guys, when you look at how it went down, I mean, 7-6 game at half, game 3, 30 minutes on the line, and then to come out with a 7-0 win or 8-0 win in the second half. I mean, championship in style. I mean, I don't know what more you could say, but any other takes we got for the Banditos?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great ride. I want to thank all the fans that came up to us at both party in the plazas, took pictures with us, played the toilet toss with and then Maniac. We went to Sports City for the game, packed house. I was standing for most of the time. But like you said, it was a little nervous, and then the second half was just a total party. So I'm looking forward to the parade Friday. Hopefully, we get blessed with some weather. It's been rough here lately with that in that department.
Yeah, fingers crossed for certain for some good weather on Friday. We'll be at the Banditos parade for sure. Nothing like a championship parade heading into the weekend. Nothing like the Sabres doing nothing. People, I don't know. Like, did people really think that everyone who tweeted about Mitch Marner was like, no, I'm just joking and stuff. But in the back of their mind, they were like, I hope so. But like, I don't know. It fooled me once. Shame on you. Like, fool me 38 times. Shame on the Buffalo Sabres, I think, in this case.
Yeah. I also don't know, like, they've done it all, guys, in the last 10 years. They've done every move you can think of. So, like, I think people can complain about anything. You can complain about doing nothing. And if they did something, they'd be like, oh, that's not the right guy. It's not the right thing. Sabres fans are just angry. They're just pissed. Like, I just think, like, it is what it is. But I think the Sabres have tried all the things that everybody suggests. They're all great ideas. They've tried it all. None of it's worked. So I don't know what I love it. I love it. Maybe a change is a great idea. I love having some passion about this team still. But hey, man, they've tried everything. It's a culture thing, and it's above a pay grade thing, in my opinion. They can still beat that out, but tough times.
Yeah, I think a good gauge of how cynical things are is Tage scores that golden goal for the U.S. and Crossing Swords posted. I mean, we got to give our guy a shout out, and a lot of the comments and retweets are like, all right, like ticking time, how long till he's gone, about Tage. And that's just, I think, perfectly exemplified.
We're back to the JJ Peterka trade rumors.
Yeah.
When does this ever make sense? Like, how much longer can they continuously just get rid of like great players just to see them like go thrive, and become like superstars? Evan Rodriguez is legitimately a star. Like, he's been in the playoffs now enough the last 3 years. He was in the playoffs of the Penguins. He's been in the playoffs enough to where he's a body. He's like a player that people like. It's insane. It's just insane to see. Like, I get why it happened with Ralph Kruger, but that doesn't mean it has to continue to happen under Lindy Ruff, Kevin Adams, et cetera, et cetera. Like Ralph Kruger literally had no clue. Like, these guys have a clue, and that is undeniable. I don't care how bad you think the Sabres are. Those guys do have a clue. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, what about the difference that Eric Stahl is gonna make?
Yeah, exactly. Moving on. NBA, NHL playoffs. NHL playoffs have been kind of surprising, I guess. Oilers have been taking it to the Stars, 3-1.
Yeah.
And then on the east side, we have another 3-1. We have the Panthers over the Canes. They'll be going to close that series out tonight, I believe. But they both kind of played it out surprisingly to me. I think everyone expected the team that's ahead to ultimately win, but not to dominate the series so much like they have. Is the NHL side of things. Does anyone agree or disagree there?
Yeah, I've just been shocked, really, in particular, the Canes-Panthers series. Just, the Canes, everyone for the first 2 rounds were just like, boring hockey. I hate these guys. They so defensive. And they gave up 6 goals, 5 goals, like 2-3 times in this series. So that's been the biggest surprise for me. But yeah, I mean, we're looking at potentially a rematch of last year's Cup, right? Panthers Oilers.
Yeah.
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 Where
I
Panthers went up 3-0 and Oilers came back to force a game 7. So we know it's not over yet, but I don't see the Canes in particular coming back. Stars, I think, are a little feistier. We'll see.
Yeah, I really thought Dallas Edmonton was going to be like a 7-game battle. So I still have hope for Dallas putting some fight up in there. The Carolina thing is just it's a pretty sad stat to go 15 conference final games without a win. Like they're celebrating that the other day on ESPN and stuff, like it meant something. Like that's tough. And it's a problem with the playoff format. We don't have to get into the format for the NHL right now. I think that's my biggest issue. But hey, Florida Edmonton, a collision course after that series last year, and knowing what Edmonton's going to feel coming into this, the desperation that city and the team will feel, and how good this Florida team is. Best case scenario again for league. I had Washington, Edmonton. That was my pick before the playoffs. So I'd really liked this Oilers team. I don't know if they can get it done against Florida though, but we'll see. I do think those two teams end up snaking it out, but I think the Stars put up a fight.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. And then on the basketball side of things, Mike, obviously that's your lane, no pun intended. Which team do you see more likely to come back from 3-1? And I guess which series has been more surprising to you?
Oh, I'll take the more surprising first, because I think the most surprising thing here has been that the Pacers are just keeping this up. And it's not surprising anymore, but like game 1 to win a game like that again, where you were basically, it was basically a repeat of game 2 against the Cavs, where they were completely down and out and snatched the soul from a team on the road. Like this Pacers team is just different. So I think that's the surprising thing. But when you look at the Knicks, like the Knicks issues start with a small guard and Karl Anthony Towns as your big, and it's a flawed logic when you get into this. So I'm not surprised to see the Pacers winning this series. Will it be surprising to see them win in 5 in New York tomorrow night? Yeah, that would be crazy. I'm not surprised at all about Minnesota though. Minnesota was overmatched coming into this series. Guys, we're gonna talk about Anthony Edwards quite a lot this summer. I don't see it as he's not even close to SGA. And that's where
Mike, don't come for my man. He's shooting 49.3% from the floor in this series. He hasn't been shut down. They're smothering him. They got nobody else they can go to.
I understand, but there a lot of, it's just a lot of the hype around. Like I just want to properly put him in perspective. That's it. And that's where we're at with that series. OKC, Indiana. Everybody's gonna just pick OKC. Indiana can press them. That could go 7. OKC is not infallible in my opinion. So
I'm trying to think NBA style, and I know the landscape is just this way, but when was the last time if Anthony Edwards won, he would be kind of like a superstar doing on his own, right, Micah? Like he has Randall and they have Gobert, obviously, like who are a defensive player of the year, 6th man of the year, whatever. But that would be as close to like a solo guy doing it on his own in a while, right? OKC is a team. SGA scores out the wazoo, but they're a full team effort. I mean, you need to be a team effort, but at 143, 128. They haven't scored less than 114 points in this Western Conference Finals. Before that, they the 3 straight games they scored over that amount versus Golden State. I mean, this run has been crazy. This is definitely a new age era run for sure. They took out LeBron, they took out Curry. Now they're taking out like the other West contender who was supposed to be after Luka left, like obviously Anthony Edwards. This is quite a run for OKC for sure. I would like to see get me the Knicks back to the Garden for game 7. I'm sorry. That would be an outstanding environment. If they it would require a win, and then I think they get the win in game 5, and then you have to go muscle out one with Chalamet on the road. But give me that Garden atmosphere in game 7 after a 3-1 series becomes 3-3. That could be biblical for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will be I'm going to be in New York City this weekend. So I'm hoping for this series to extend as long as possible and hopefully get some great footage of some New Yorkers in the New York, New Jersey area all weekend going crazy. Because if they lose tomorrow night, it's going to be a real depressing weekend otherwise.
It is for sure. They're going to be taking down the street signs.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with my prediction of Pacers in 7. I think the NBA wants this series to go as long as possible. It's definitely been the more exciting one, higher profile, obviously, with all the stars. And a quick word about Anthony Edwards. I think I think OKC's defense deserves a lot of credit. Like you said, Lakers shut down, and now Golden State. They're basically doing what teams started to do to defend SGA 2 years ago, and then SGA developed that fadeaway pull-up jumper. They're loading up the rim, and Anthony Edwards, he just doesn't have that fadeaway that's as deadly as SGA yet. So I think he's not there, but he has potential. But that's I was watching some film on that. I forget what channel it was on, but they were showing some clips of how, obviously Ant is a great three ball shooter, but like if they're stopping him from getting to the rim and getting fouls, which is his thing, I don't see that series. I think that series is over, but I think we're getting a Game 7 in New York.
To Micah's point, he was 1 of 7 from 3 in Game 4, and they lost by 2. So, that's a situation where, of course, literally every point counts. Speaking of which, a lot of points being made locally. We saw this headline at the end of last week. It definitely caught our eyes. A little bit more attention, a little bit more context brought forward. First off, and I hand up, I'm an idiot. Will East alum, baseball alum, on the panel right now in the form of Dreamboat.
Yes.
What was it like being a Flame?
It was hot. It was hot. But yeah, I was from the legendary Jerry Gauze era. Now, if you say that name in high school baseball, you're either gonna get like, "Wow, good," or like the loudest groan you've ever heard. Very
one way or the other. That's great, Michael. We know that you got to move the needle one way or the other. The worst thing is a cricket's pop.
So he was he was a coach before their now no longer current one, but the one that was current as of a week ago. He was my coach. My position was I was a second base, and then I would DH when one of the pitchers that I switched off with at second base played second base. So I was second base DH, which is pretty rare.
A little Robinson Cano situation.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that. I wore 22. So
see, I'm telling you. Yeah. Wow, I gotta see some Donnie Frauenhofer footage. We actually should break that down on a future Trainwreck tonight. But people are having breakdowns over what happened recently in a Williamsville East baseball game. The coach now on leave, not suspended, just on leave, like has stepped away from the team. But the bottom line is we know a lot about this. A lot has been made. There have been headlines that, Will East threw a game or Will East, like I saw a headline today. When did the Will East tank begin? This was actually, and I just got to say,
Buffalo News too.
That was by the Buffalo News. I don't mean to shut them out. And I want to say first and foremost, full disclosure, I am friends with the Will East coach. He was introduced to me through a friend of a friend. Nice family guy. Nothing to think otherwise. Has always been, fun to be around. Great guy. Seems focused on the kids when I see him in the coach atmosphere, everything like that. So reeling that in though, quick, Donnie, you're in the Will East Flames dugout. Your coach explains to you this situation. You're playing a game right now. If you win this game, you're playing Team A. I don't even know what Team A is. I don't know who Team A is. I don't know anything about Team A. If you lose this game, you're playing Team B, who you recently beat, according to my sources, and I hope these are right, 25-0 this season. So your round one game, depending on a win, is versus Team A. If you lose this end of season game, it's versus Team B, who you have prior success and almost guarantees a bye. Now, of course, at the core of it, nobody should ever teach like a kid to lose. The idea of teaching a kid to lose is insanity, literally insanity. But we live in a world where, first off, the thing we always teach kids is winning isn't everything. And again, I'm not using that as a pun, but we also know in the modern day that winning sometimes isn't advantageous. And I take us back with a local example. Everyone here is a Bills fan. End of the Bills season last year. The Bills had nothing to play for in New England. New England had nothing to play for. They were eliminated from the playoffs. New England gets a meaningless win over the Bills, a meaningless win. Now they lose a chance to get a generational player, a generational quarterback, a generational Travis Hunter type player. Again, what's the ultimate fallout from that? Is Travis Hunter a bust, or is New England going to have a great call? You don't know, but the mathematical odds say that they cost themselves. Everyone who's looked back on that in retrospect thinks New England was stupid for winning that game. So again, you take retrospect to the fact that anything is going to happen in the pro sports, celebrating after plays, fights, anything that happens at the pro sport level can definitely happen at the youth sport level, especially varsity baseball, etc. I mean, I don't think this is surprising to see a situation come up like this when this situation arises.
Yeah, I mean, I think too the question a lot of these articles are asking and everyone's saying is, you brought up the headline, when did the tank begin?
Unbelievable.
Is everyone saying, like, pretty much it's who do we blame for this? Is it the coach? Is it the players? But I think you brought up the best point. I mean, we are in a society now, you can turn on local radio and they're talking about, the famous Sabres tank of years ago. You can turn on ESPN and they're talking about, teams losing for better draft picks. I mean, there's countless examples. Yeah, the Bills one is a great one because it's the most recent one. So I think if there's one thing, you can't blame the student athletes. This is a decision that is tough to make, and for someone that's that young, and I wouldn't expect to really grapple with that. Now, if we want to hold a coach accountable, I'm all for that. And if he broke a certain level of high school rule or integrity or sportsmanship,
I want to get some facts out there real quick because this goes to your point. I just want to get some facts out there real quick. The game was requested to be moved up 30 minutes. There was apparently someone on the field was in foul territory. I'm hearing this from a source or two. And then one other thing that's being denied vehemently, but one side that's definitely trying, the prosecution is saying that the Will East side had coaches at other games texting and a network of all kinds of, to make sure, figure out what was going on. Everyone on the other side thinks that's lunacy. Everyone has no idea what they're talking about. So either they're all on the same page and FBI style being hush, or there's a little bit of conspiracy theory going on the other side of the accusers, primarily the Hamburg baseball coach, Derek Hill.
I will say from my experience playing varsity baseball in Western New York, it is I know we're big on football in a hockey town, but baseball is wild. The coaches, the parents, the politics, it is more.
It's crazy.
It is. I mean, it's crazy all around, but it really is what, I don't know. I feel like I've also played varsity hockey. Actually funny story too. Jerry Gauze was at Williamsville East, also coached a guy who played varsity hockey and varsity baseball, a guy named Todd Marchant that went to Williamsville East. So, I'm not surprised that it's getting as ugly as it is. I'm pretty much saying, it's so tough because you don't want to teach people to lose. You don't want to, you don't want to sportsmanship and all that, but then there's also gamemanship. And if these kids, if you're an 18-year-old senior, and you're trying to win a sectional and cap off your career, you might never pick up a mid again. If you're not going to play college ball or something. So you might want to give yourself the best chance to win a sectional, win a state,
There's literally two headlines here, and they're both true. Will East accused of throwing a game for sure. And then the other headline is no matter what, coach does everything he can to put his team in best position for championship. Both those things seem to be accurate at this point.
Also, sure. I want to know what defines exactly throwing a game. Are you throwing a game if you take out your best pitchers or best hitters? Or are you giving kids when you're up 7-0, 7-3 that have been riding the bench all year a chance to hit? Is that throwing a game, or does it have to be more obvious, intentionally walking 4 guys in a row and having your third baseman stand in foul territory? Again, all the facts are coming out. Some of them are contested, and the sources do matter.
Yes, and the sources do matter. I went kind of on the road. We do know some local people who cover these teams, who are involved in these programs for sure. So I kind of dug a little bit, and there are 4 things that I just wanted to stick out and I wanted to bring to the surface that they all seem to be saying. Of course, now it just disappeared on me. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so there are 4 things that they all seem to be saying. 1, every single coach, every single athletic personnel within ECIC knows that the baseball standings seeding system is completely broken and doesn't ultimately reflect how the standings and matchups should be for Western New York. So right there, we're doing the kids a disservice. 2, nearly every person I talked to, multiple, said it's been undersold in the articles and news what an advantage it is for a suburb school to face a Buffalo public school. That's just all they're saying. They're saying this off the record. They don't want their names out there. They don't want anything like that. But it's basically a known fact. It's an advantage, especially in the first round, and it's something a majority of coaches aim to do. 3, multiple coaches, including the ones barking some of the loudest right now, have participated in this behavior in the past. This has been for me from multiple sources that some of the people who are, especially the people who sent the letter, we're sending in letters right now about when we disagree with people instead of discoursing, talking, figure it out, especially when kids are saying, trying to act like you're in it for the well-being of kids, just asinine. And this is the last one I want to get to the surface level. One source said, and I quote, some of the coaches and personnel complaining the loudest right now could use a good hard look at themselves in the mirror. So the only reason I bring this all up, it's not to like try and, praise someone's innocence, anything like that. I think there's definitely a lot of, stuff going around, but the system is clearly broken. The system is obviously broken. Let's just fix the system so something like this doesn't ever happen to happen. We don't have to have letters sent. We don't have to have anything like that. I want the system fixed so we can see the best baseball in Western New York. That's all where I'm at, and I think we all agree. Shout outs and sign-offs. Huge shout out to Deion Dawkins, restoring some Buffalo property. We are going to be there literally in 15 minutes. You guys got any shout outs or sign-offs?
Shout out to Slick. As you mentioned, he was here in Chicago for the weekend. We got some great footage of that'll be coming all your ways. But it was a great time, jam-packed Memorial Day weekend here. All good stuff.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to, if you guys might have seen, we got a new music page, myself and Jake are handling. We're posting about things that people's birthdays, deaths, days, albums were released.
I'm learning shit. I'm learning shit on the jam. So I love it.
It's a great way if, you wake up, you don't know what to put on, go over there. It's all by digging into the history. I'm remembering like yesterday, I haven't listened to TLC in probably a year, like gone out of my way to listen to an album, but it was Left Eye's birthday, listened to TLC's album. And so that was great. Hop in our DMs, tell us something you want us to cover. And remember to check us out Friday. Every Friday, we're going to have a playlist of just what we're jamming to, maybe some of the stuff we highlighted that week. And it's a vibe. We're getting into music. So music fans, sports fans, let's come together to the two things that are very near and dear to me. So
seriously, let's do that. Let's all jam together. And most importantly, let's have a good night now.